All right, to catch you up, I have taken my chicken, my whole chicken out of the package. I have cleaned him off. I have patted him dry very well, and I have salt and peppered the backside. Before I put him in my crock pot, I sprayed with nonstick cooking spray before I put the chicken in. So now we want to go ahead and do salt and pepper on this side of the chicken. This is the only seasoning, as far as seasonings go, that's gonna go in here. So both sides of the chicken are seasoned. Next, we want to, I took an onion and I quartered it, and we're just gonna add it to our crock pot. It didn't, the recipe, which I'll link in the description box, did not say anything about putting anything inside the cavity of the chicken. I also cut up some lemons and gonna add as well. And then next you're gonna add a jar of your favorite barbecue sauce. This is the barbecue sauce that I'm using. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you know I use this all the time. And we're just going to put the whole jar in. This is a 18-ounce jar. The recipe calls for a can of Coke. I only had a bottle of Coke. So I'm going to pour the majority of this Coke right on top of my onions, lemon, and my barbecue chicken. Chicken is prepped. What we need to do is put the lid on and cook it on low for 6 to 8 hours, depending on how large your chicken is. I'm going to let mine go for 8. Tonight with our Coca-Cola chicken, we're gonna have some sliced carrots doctored up, and we are gonna have some stovetop savory herb stuffing mix. Our chicken is finished. My house is smelling pretty dreamy, let me just tell you that much. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to take this chicken out of my crock pot and put it into an aluminum pan. If the chicken stays together, then I'll cut actual pieces. If it does not stay together, then I will go ahead and pick the chicken, you know, shred it and that kind of stuff. So I know that typically, you know, things tend to fall apart pretty easy because they're so tender in the crock pot, but let's just see what happens. I was able to keep the chicken breast together. I quartered those 2 chicken breasts. So I have chicken breast and stovetop stuffing, carrots. I did not want to put more juice on the chicken until after I showed you what it looked like, because I knew it would run all over the place. My husband will definitely add more juice. I'll probably be fine with mine like that. I did have a little sneak bite of the chicken. It is very good. It is moist, it is flavorful, so I'm excited to dive into dinner tonight. First step to our Sloppy Joes is we're gonna brown off some hamburger. I'm just gonna add a little bit of seasoning to my hamburger, just some Lawry's. And then I've diced up a onion and pepper and just gonna get that in so they can soften. Okay guys, I gotta tell you something here. I bought these little bitty onions because sometimes, you know, recipes, you know how I am not really big on onions. Girl, guys, these little onions are the strongest things ever. They make me cry every time I cut one of them up. So if you see some uneven chopping, just know I'm trying to get over it to be done before I start boo-hooing. So I'll be glad whenever I use up this bag. So what we're gonna do is we're going to get all this hamburger browned, and then we're gonna get it drained, and then we'll be back to get all of our seasonings in our Sloppy Joe mix. Before we put our hamburger back on the heat, I'm gonna go ahead and doctor up the meat. I've browned and drained this, so I'm gonna add a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Gonna add some Heinz ketchup, Sometimes I start with an amount of ketchup and then I may have to add more. I don't measure, I'm doing by color. Whenever it's all put together, I'm looking for a certain color. Yellow mustard. Some minced garlic. I'm just using this little baby spoon. And I'm using light brown sugar, but if you have dark brown sugar on hand, that's fine as well. And I'm just gonna use a tablespoon and put just a little bit in there. I'm gonna get this back on the heat and get everything stirred up. I may have to add more ketchup if there's not enough in there. My husband doesn't want any side dishes tonight. He just wants a Sloppy Joe sandwich. So I'm gonna heat up some garlic bread. I have my oven preheating to 425. I'm just following the directions on the back. And then once they come out, then I will assemble the sandwich and show you how that we like them. My garlic bread just came out of the oven. I baked it according to package instructions, and then I turned it on broil just to get the tops toasted. So what I'm gonna do is put together a typical sandwich that we would put together at our house. You take your garlic bread, and then you take your Sloppy Joe mixture. And then I have some leftover mozzarella cheese. I'm gonna put this on top. And I'm gonna stick this back in the oven long enough for the cheese to melt and the meat to reheat. And here is dinner tonight at our house. Sloppy Joes on Texas toast.